This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Gamefly. Go to gamefly.com/TYT for your free trial membership.
So we've talked about the sexuality spectrum several times on the show before. Cenk shared the spectrum with me. However, Steve-O says that he told everyone about the spectrum prior to Cenk. I don't know. That's something we can discuss later. But let me tell you what
I don't even know why you give time to the haters, man. Everybody in the world knows that I came up with the spectrum theory. And, Professor Kinsey. Kinsey can tell me how my ass tastes, okay? I'm the one who popularized the spectrum theory. Over. End of this. That's right. All right, go ahead.
So the spectrum theory is that no one can really be identified as just straight or just gay. Our sexuality is on a spectrum. One side is straight, one side is gay, and we're somewhere along that spectrum, right? And, that's an interesting theory, but what's even more interesting is now we have specific cases of it, okay? So Kenneth M. Cohen and Rich Savin Williams, they're both writers for the Good Men Project, and they actually did their own little study of 160 men, and they found out that of those 160 men, about 1 in 8 of them are identified as mostly straight. So what does mostly straight mean? It means that they like women, they love women, they sleep with women, they want to be with women. However, they are not blind to the fact that they're a little attracted to men as well. And there are different variations. For instance, there are men that are attracted to other men, but they would never allow it to materialize. They're just merely attracted, and they like to, look at other men and just maybe masturbate while thinking about them. Okay, so
but they're mostly straight. It's cool, dog. It's cool. I can't even say it, man. But every once in a while, when you're squeezing one out, come on, man. This story's killing me already. Okay, go ahead.
And then, other men who identify themselves as mostly straight are men who sleep with women. However, they are attracted to men, and sometimes they'll be intimate with men in non-sexual ways. For instance, they'd like to cuddle while watching TV and eating popcorn, that kind of stuff.
Oh, no, that ain't right. Look, I was fascinated by these different categories, and I immediately thought, what's quote-unquote gayer, right? And I mean that in this sense, in a literal sense, right? Wanting to sleep with a guy or wanting to cuddle with a guy. And I actually think wanting to cuddle with a guy is gayer, okay? And I don't know, maybe I'm alone on that one, or maybe I'm in the minority. But to me, somebody says, like, for example, not a lot of people know this, Hugh Hefner has basically admitted to, being with a dude when he was younger, experimenting, et cetera, et cetera. But you got to give Hugh his props, right? I mean, that dude is definitely at least mostly straight, right? But if somebody comes and says, oh, no, I don't have sex with guys, but I love to cuddle with them and run my fingers through their hair. You see what I'm saying?
So you believe that they're closer to gay on that sexuality spectrum?
The way I see it.
If they like to do a little cuddle.
Yeah, I cannot imagine a god that would have me cuddling with a guy.
But what about guys who identify as mostly straight, however they like to masturbate while thinking of another guy? Would you consider them further along the sexuality spectrum toward gay?
Anna, I got to be honest with you, these are awfully difficult questions.
They are difficult questions, I agree. No, but you know what? I love this story because it's true. It's really difficult to categorize people. You can't just say, like, either you're straight, you're bisexual, or gay. That's it, There are people that are somewhere along that spectrum. And it's amazing because, here, let me give you an example of something that was written in the article. National surveys in the United States and Canada show that 3 to 4% of male teenagers, when given the choice to select a term that best describes their sexual feelings, desires, and behaviors, opt for not heterosexual, not bisexual, or gay, but mostly or predominantly heterosexual. 3 to 4%. I mean, it seems like a tiny number, but I think that's significant.
Because that doesn't even count the gay number, and it doesn't count the bisexual number.
Right.
And one could argue about this, whether this is really a new category. I mean, of course, you could say, hey, listen, dude, if you're mostly straight, you're bisexual, right? Mm-hmm. So if you like if you like girls most of the time, but 20% of the time or 10% of the time you like guys, well, you're bisexual, right? But they don't view themselves that way. They really view that they're straight, but sometimes they're into dudes. And as the article explains, sometimes they have crushes on them. Sometimes, they want to cuddle with them. And look, put the kidding aside. Look, if you asked me in the old days when I was a Neanderthal barbarian, I would have said, dude, you were the guy once. I mean, you can call yourself mostly anything if you like, but, let's stop kidding ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these days, look, I get it, man. There is a range of sexuality. And if these people are being open and honest about it and they're saying, hey, some of us like to cuddle, some of us like to do this, but most of the time we like to do that, hey, have at it, Hoss. I love the honesty.
Cenk, people don't know this about me, but I'm an underground gamer.
You are.
I love to play video games.
Well, then you're going to love our new sponsor, Gamefly. They're the largest online video game rental service in the world. 7,000 titles, new and classic. Also, no late fees, no due dates. Shipping's always free.
Go to gamefly.com/TYT for a free trial membership.